So Evan Gettier, he's a professor in the 60s. He's even less productive than I am, right? The guy publishes, I think, two articles and a review paper throughout his career, revolutionizes 20th century epistemology, right? So his paper, it's like 2 pages long. He gives you like two thought experiments. You can't do epistemology in the 20th century without sort of understanding and speaking back to his paper. It has that much significance. And it's not even like it's a new idea, right? Like, so the Gettier cases, they're supposed to demonstrate that knowledge can't possibly be justified true belief. And these cases, we see them before, right? Bertrand Russell has a Gettier case, early 20th century. And you look back at classical thought, and there's people that have Gettier cases in classical thought as well. So it's not like these are even it's not like his ideas are even unique to him, right? I guess what he does is he gives this argument in a way that's very formalized, very careful, and demands a response, right? And it's such a simple point that it seems like there's got to be an obvious answer. The thing is just people spent like 50 plus years trying to respond to him, and there was no clear solution to the Gettier case, right? Which is still why it's a challenge today. So I'm going to start with a classic case, right? So I can never say his name. Dharmattara, 8th century, Indian philosopher. He gives us two of the classic Gettier cases, right? Again, these are challenges to the idea that knowledge is justified true belief. What he says is, suppose that we are seeking water on a hot day, right? And so a man is out seeking water on a hot day. He suddenly sees water, or so he thinks. He's in the desert, right? So he sees an oasis in the distance. In fact, he's not actually seen water, right? What he's seen is a mirage. So that's what he sees. He's walking through the desert, sees a mirage. He's like, oh, water, I'm not going to die. Makes his way over to the water. But what he had seen was a mirage, right? And yet, when he reaches that spot, he's lucky. He finds water right there under a rock. Now, can we say that he had genuine knowledge of water? Well, look at the standard analysis of knowledge, right? To know is to have a justified true belief. His belief is true, right? He thought there was water there, and there was. He believed there was water there, and his belief's accurate. And he had justification, right? He saw the water. So he's got a justified true belief, but there's something weird there, right? Surely he didn't actually know that there was water there, right? It was the mirage that was leading him to the water. So even though he's got a justified true belief, we would say, well, he doesn't really know, right? So that's a classic case. And there's a couple classic ones. Bertrand Russell's case, very similar, right? You're in an office and there's a clock, right? And the clock says it is 1:17 p.m. Turns out the case that the clock is broken and the hands haven't moved in 2 days. But you see the clock, it says 1:17. I think it's 1:17. You don't know it's broken. It just turns out to be the case that it's actually 1:17. So again, you've got justification for believing it's 1:17. Clocks are generally reliable, right? You've got no reason to think the clock's broken. So hey, it's 1:17. It's true that it's 1:17. So you've got justified true belief, right? Yeah, you don't know it. How could you possibly know it? The clock's broken, right? You just fluked out in thinking you knew the right time. Those are Gettier cases. If they're correct, right? Well, then you can't really know merely by having a justified true belief. There's got to be something else that we add to knowledge. Now, what Gettier does, Gettier gives us two cases that they play with kind of general principles of like sentential logic. And I'm not going to do them in this video. I think they're better if you read them. There's the Smith and Jones case where the man with 10 coins in his pocket turns out to get the job. And there's the other case where Jones owns a Ford. Read through those in the notes. They're the same kind of thing as Bertrand Russell's clock case, right? Or they're the same kind of case as the Oasis case. There are examples where you have a justified true belief, and yet surely you don't know. And if that's the case, well, then that's a big problem, right? Because then that means that knowledge cannot merely be justified true belief. It's got to involve something else. Shouldn't be that hard to figure out what the extra thing is, right? Or what the trick is here. But it's been notoriously difficult for anybody to give an account of exactly what's going on here, or to improve our account of knowledge. We'll talk in class, but that's what a Gettier case is. Have a good one.